So it's good to have you. I guess my first question would be, how is the COVID season been for Santa Claus?
Well, it has been very difficult for myself, and of course, for those of your listeners out there who know what really goes on, the many other gentlemen with white beards who work in all of the malls and shopping centers and venues around the country, all of them, in fact, around the world, all of them are under various restraints and restrictions this year as to how much work they can do, the type of work they can do, and how we can interact with the families.
Yeah, I can only imagine that with because your model is seeing kids. Your model is malls, and if malls are going through what they're going through, you're probably affected. So how has this affected you? From the standpoint of seeing kids, and going to typical malls. Have you guys had to adjust tremendously?
Well, I think that as everyone is adjusted in their own lives, in their homes and everything, uh, fortunately, the internet and Skype and Zoom have allowed more people to communicate and keep the face-to-face contacts going. And that is what a lot of Santas are moving over to. There are a lot working in the malls and the shopping center, but often they're going to be working behind plexiglass or socially distanced, where maybe the family is on one side of the tree and 6 feet away and the other side is Santa. And possibly they're all wearing masks, or maybe the Santas are wearing the clear face shields.
I can see that you have to get creative at a season like this. So if you don't mind us going back a little bit with you, is how did you become Santa? Because I know you got an interesting story of how you became Santa. I think it's appropriate we just go there first.
Well, always loved Santa Claus. I am the oldest of 11 children in a lovely Irish Catholic family. So we always had Christmas and Santa. And in 1969, I was serving in the Army. I was in Vietnam. And a friend of mine, when we came back into the base camp on December 23rd to get our mail and have an early Christmas dinner, uh, he put on some shaving cream as a beard and sat in a folding chair. And all of the rest of us soldiers sat down on his lap and had pictures taken to send home to our moms and dads. Um, After about 15 minutes, that shaving cream started melting and falling away. So I grabbed that can of Barbasol and put some shaving cream on and sat in the chair and was Santa for some of the soldiers in our unit. Uh, Quite an experience. Little did I know that a year later I would be home, going to college, working in a department store, and they came to me and said, "We know that you like broadcasting and you were in the high school theatrical group. Can you be Santa for a couple days?" And thus started a career of wearing the red suit.
And how long has that been now since that couple days?
Well, it's 51 years this year.
Holy moly, 51 years of
Now,
being
not
Santa.
always with the real beard. For many years, it was a theatrical beard. But as we say in the industry, as I teach in my Santa school, the number one rule is we are there for the children.
Very cool and very cool. So, what is I mean, to become a Santa? And I've heard that you've trained, I don't know, through your school, some nearly 4,000 other Santas. So tell me a little bit about the business of being a Santa Claus.
Well, about 22 years ago, when I started doing the professional Santa work and my starting to retire and everything, many of the Santas didn't know each other. There were been some going to school, and there were a couple places that did some training. One of them, Charles W. Howard School, goes back to 1938. And it was once a year up in Michigan. And I had written a couple chapters for a book a friend was writing. And my chapters were kind of like on the work that we do, the business that we do, and the requirements we have. And somebody said that was good. And I added more. And all of a sudden I had a full-fledged book, and someone said, "You should teach this." So I started in 2003 my own Santa school, and I traveled around the country, going to different cities to where the Santas lived, teaching them. And as of last year, 4,500 Santas and Mrs. Claus had received diplomas from my school.
4,500 Santas have received a diploma from your school.
Yes.
How intense is the school?
Well, the basic school is 2 days. It's 16 hours. It covers everything starting at the beginning from a little of the history of Santa Claus from St. Nicholas right through to present day, a little bit about the different characters, the media, uh, some of the things that influence the development of the Santa from his travels. He started in Turkey. St. Nicholas was from Turkey, and as his stories traveled from that area, the Mediterranean, up into Europe, and then eventually to this new continent over here, to the US and Americas, um, all of the different countries influenced the person of Santa Claus with different customs and different cultures. And much of it melded together in New York in the uh, part of the 19th century, and we ended up with Santa Claus. In fact, uh, the term Santa Claus, first time in print, I believe, was in 1862 in the Harper's Weekly.
1862 was the first time the term Santa Claus was used.
Yeah. Well, it had been used, but in print, I know in 1862. I think that the Dutch in New York had Sinterklaas, and when the British took over New Amsterdam and renamed it New York, they required everybody to speak English, and Sinterklaas became Santa Claus. So the name was mentioned, but in print, 1862.
How much has changed for you the season? You said 50 something years, you said you've been doing this. How much has things changed over the years of being Santa Claus during Christmas? What have you noticed?
The big thing I've noticed is that, particularly in the last 20, 25 years, is the Santas are a little more stylish. They do a little more styling. They more professional looking suits, tailored. And of course, back in the 1970s, the suit was nice, but the belt was usually a vinyl or cloth with a little, metal buckle. And they didn't really have real boots. They had covers that covered their legs, so they wore street shoes with a cover over them. As we moved into the turn of the century, into the 2000s and stuff, children are really smart. They can tell when something is not real. I mean, a child can watch a movie now and tell you what's CGI. So the thing is, we have to have realistic suits. So real belt and real boots and of course, real beard. Back in the 70s, all the Santas and all the department stores were theatrically bearded. And today, rarely do you find a theatrically bearded Santa. If he is, it's a high quality theatrical beard. It's one that you can hardly tell, But, today, real bearded is much a necessity. However, I have to clarify, you could put on a beard and a wig. Any of your friends, ladies that you know, could put on a beard and wig and go into a little daycare center with children 5 and under. And if you got on a red suit and you've got a white beard, you're Santa. So the magic still occurs, even if you don't have a real beard.